Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to look at some common phrasal verbs you can use at work or in a business setting. These are super handy for meetings, emails, and everyday office life. I'm Sophia, and I'm here with Ethan. Ready to dive in, Ethan?
Absolutely, Sophia. Let's start with a simple scenario. You have a meeting where you need to discuss a report. You might say, "We need to go over last month's sales figures." Go over means to review or examine something carefully.
Yes. Go over is great for talking about documents, plans, or presentations. Another common verb is bring up. If you want to introduce a topic in a meeting, you can say, "I'd like to bring up the new marketing strategy." This means you want to start talking about it.
Good example. If a problem arises, you might need to figure out a solution. For example, we need to figure out how to improve our customer satisfaction. Figure out means to find a solution or understand something.
Right. Figure out is very problem-solving oriented. Another verb that's useful is follow up. After a meeting, you might say, "I'll follow up with an email," which means you'll make contact again or continue the discussion later.
Yes, follow up is great for when you don't want to leave something unfinished. If you sent a proposal and haven't heard back, you might follow up to see what's happening.
Another one is check in. If you want to see how a project is going, you can say, "I'll check in with the team this afternoon." Check in means to see what's happening or if there are any updates.
And if something doesn't work out, you might need to call off a meeting or event. For example, we have to call off the meeting because the manager is sick. Call off means to cancel.
Yes, very useful. Also, when you need to put off something, it means you delay it until later. For instance, "Let's put off the discussion about the budget until next week," means you postpone it.
Exactly. Another verb is look into, which means to investigate or examine something more deeply. We should look into why sales have dropped this quarter.
Good one. And if you need to draw up a contract or a plan, it means to prepare it in a formal, written way. Our lawyer will draw up the agreement and send it to us.
That's a must-know phrase for formal documents. Another handy verb is carry on, meaning to continue something. If a meeting gets interrupted but you want to proceed, you say, "Let's carry on where we left off."
Great point. And sometimes you might have to cut down on expenses, meaning reduce them. We need to cut down on travel costs this year.
Yes, cut down on is all about reducing something. Another important one is run by. If you want someone's opinion on something, you can say, "Let me run this idea by my boss before we make a decision." It means to show or explain something to someone to get their feedback.
Perfect. And if you want to be efficient, you might wrap up a meeting early. Wrap up means to finish or conclude. Let's wrap up this call so we can get back to work. And we can add even more useful verbs. For instance, hand in is great when you need to submit something. Please hand in your report by Monday. It's common in both school and work settings for turning in paperwork or assignments.
Another one is set up, which means to arrange or organize something. We need to set up a meeting with the new client, or can you help me set up the presentation equipment?
Also, jot down is handy for when you quickly write something. I'll jot down these notes during the conference call so I don't forget the main points.
And if you want to visit someone briefly or check on something, you can drop by an office. I'll drop by your office later to talk about the budget.
Go ahead is another phrase you'll hear often in a professional setting. It means to proceed or start. Go ahead and send the email, or you can go ahead with the plan if you think it's ready.
These additional phrasal verbs, hand in, set up, jot down, drop by, and go ahead, along with the others we've discussed, will help you navigate everyday work situations more naturally.
Excellent list. Now, how can our listeners practice these verbs?
They can start by writing short scenarios, like mini stories about their workday. For example, this morning I needed to go over the sales report. I brought up some concerns in our meeting and asked the team to figure out a solution. After the meeting, I followed up with an email.
That's perfect. Making up small stories helps you remember the verbs. Also, pay attention to these verbs when you watch business-related videos, news, or even in emails from colleagues. Notice how native speakers use them naturally.
Yes, and don't try to learn them all at once. Pick 2 or 3, focus on them this week, and try to use them in your practice sentences or in real conversations if you can.
Over time, these verbs will become second nature. You'll just know when to say bring up instead of mention, or go over instead of review. They'll add a natural feel to your business English.
Exactly. And remember, making mistakes is okay. If you say put off when you mean call off, don't worry. Next time you'll remember the right one. Each error is a chance to learn.
So, to everyone listening, these phrasal verbs are tools to help you handle everyday work situations. Practice them, listen for them, and soon you'll use them confidently.
We hope this helps you feel more comfortable with English in a professional setting. Keep practicing and exploring, and you'll see real progress.
Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, happy learning and good luck with your work conversations.